All right, so today we're going to talk about the types of cults, super fast here, and you can fill out your Google Doc and get that turned in. And tomorrow we will start into some videos that you can watch, not of me, of actual cults of different kinds. And I'll try not to twist your brain too much. I could give you all kinds of lists, and you could Google all kinds of lists of different kinds of cults. I've kind of, as most things we've done, I've kind of trimmed the fat off and kind of narrowed them down for our few couple of weeks here of study so we don't get too deep. But this is definitely something that some of you all may study in college with psychology or sociology or even criminal investigation kind of stuff, and just what moves people, just culture in general, which obviously is where the word comes from, culture. If you didn't get that connection there, what changes culture? First kind, obviously, we have to talk about is Bible-based cults. Um, Christian movements of different things, and this is where we're going to see a lot of them that we're going to watch videos on from David Koresh and the Branch Davidians uh, in Waco, which were a crazy spinoff of Seventh Day Adventists. Actually, and what you're going to see in Bible-based cults is they're going to start out obviously with a Christian background, going to what we would call a regular church, and then they're going to end up taking teachings and going just crazy different directions. And again, you have to think about it. The people don't seek out cults to join. Remember, we talked about yesterday, people join cults because they're feeling this void. There's something going on. They're needing a sense of purpose. And then I'll say, hey, I'm going to go join a psychological cult. I'm going to go join some kind of extremist group. They don't do that. They fill this void and give them a sense of purpose. And then they kind of draw them in, gradualism, remember, into their teaching. And so people aren't looking just to change their churches, but they want something different. And again, a charismatic leader, you get some different teaching. And so you're going to end up with this. So there's a lot of, uh, you might even call it aberrant Christian groups. And so you're going to end up with things like the Way International, even the Boston Church of Christ, the Boston movement. We'll talk about that a little bit when we get to it. That was the back in the 90s, there was a big spinoff, the shepherding movement, where you're isolating people and really restricting them. So a lot of different Bible based, a lot of them quote scriptures and they go to worship and they do all these kind of things. And so you're going to end up with a lot of Bible based cults, and we're going to see that. That's a big group. Mystical, Eastern mystical. Now this is going to be the isms side that we all, a bunch of isms we just studied, like Buddhism and Hinduism, and Sikhism, a lot of those. This is going to be their version of the Bible based cults. They've taken teachings of Buddhism and Hinduism, that kind of thing, and they've gone extreme on it and done their own teachings, and they got their own little group. And you're going to have people like the Hare Krishnas. We don't see a lot of the in like Self Realization International. We don't see a lot of this, obviously, in the 501, but bigger cities and bigger, you go to the airports. I told you airports is like a little slice of culture, that all the things that's funneling through. Not these days, obviously. Airports are pretty much empty, but uh, you cut through these airports and you're going to see these groups, and they're actually going to be receiving donations and kind of passing out flyers, and then they're actually recruiting. But mystical, they're going to take Eastern religions and kind of make their own group out of it. And I kind of lump these together as the political, racist uh, movement. You're going to end up with some extremism, is extremist cults kind of thing going on. Obviously, the first one you think of is the Ku Klux Klan. You might not think of that as a cult, but it definitely has all the, a charismatic leader has all the characteristics. They're going to have some crazy teaching, and they're going to take, and they're a kind of a Bible-based cult as well. But they're going to be extremists, white Aryan resistance, the Aryan Nation, um, the political. This is what you're going to see also with a little bit of Koresh, Bible-based cult, but very political. This is what you're going to see. Uh, Oklahoma City bombing that we just talked about, that we just passed the anniversary of. Even some of the school shootings, these people have a very racist and hateful thing going on. It bleeds out into society in so many ways and affects all of us, even if we're not members, obviously. So they're very anti government. In Arkansas, the kind of thing you're going to see on this, even though we have more than our fair share of racism and in Arkansas, what you're going to see is the survivalist type spin off of this. These people are going to live in communes up in the ravines and gullies up in Arkansas with generators and canned goods and buying barrels of ammunition, and their assault weapons. And so you say, wait a minute, you're talking about my uncle, probably. And so um, political racist. Okay, psycho-spiritual. This are sort of bleeds off into the self-improvement kind of area, transcendental meditation, the life spring. There used to be a group called the Forum. I'm actually not completely sure if they're still operating the way they used to. And this is kind of a big cultic trend that's been growing because they offer seminars and workshops and make your life better, think better, and it all seems very positive. But again, they kind of draw you in. What's the end game? Draw you in, all in giving, follow this direction, give up your former life. There's probably going to be some drug usage wrapped up in there somewhere. Very psycho-spiritual, but it's all about self-improvement. But it's only self-improvement as it fits in the group. It's not really about helping you overcome anything. Okay, the occult, and obviously this includes Satan worship and this kind of thing. But not just that. It could be psychic of other things. There's some kind of secret wisdom or lost truth going on. UFO worship. There's Edgar Case's Association for Research and Enlightenment, these kind of things. And you're going to end up with this is where you get, that Heaven's Gate. And these people are going to follow. They were going to get in the tail dust of the Hale-Bopp comet. That's right. And we're going to be called home to Mother Earth. And we'll watch videos on this. And so they worship just very bizarre things that can't be described. There's some secret power that they're going to help you tap into to get you going a different direction. And you're like, oh, yes, it's like some secret of the world. And you see this in a lot of movies, whether it's horror movies or psycho thriller movies or something like that. You're going to see that in a lot of those kind of things. And it's very just a different way of thinking. So, and then, of course, there's doomsday, and this may be sprinkled across all of these kinds. Doomsday are the ones that can talk about the apocalyptic end of the world. And again, you may get this in almost all of these, that the end is coming, whether it's a nuclear holocaust or it's just the end of the world environmentally and or whatever it is, and you need to hold up. And this goes back to those people you may find up in the mountains. They're survivalists and they're going to overcome the apocalypse and this kind of thing. And so people start joining communes to survive. And after the pandemic, as we settle through this thing, you're going to see more and more of these, I believe. People are going to want to escape, especially since people are protesting, getting their cities open and this kind of thing. You're going to see people want to escape big government and go hide in the mountains. And so those are just a few of the types of cults. There's actually others, and we'll start watching videos that go along with this. I pray for you each day. And I hope you're staying safe. We'll get past this. Fill out your Google Docs and go read 1 John chapter 4 on loving each other the way God loves us. And that'll help overcome these cults more than anything. 1 John chapter 4, loving the way God loves us, because God is love.